Hey once again, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm here to talk about a series, the first book of which I'm already in the middle of. It's very exciting, and sometimes you just encounter these novels that are so outrageous you need to talk about them with the audience. Don't get me wrong, outrageous in the best, funnest, most entertaining way. I'm currently participating in the pop culture readathon, and I didn't mean to vlog at all because I wanted to take some time from vlogging, but the series that I'm reading right now is something that everyone needs in this pandemic. So as a good Samaritan, I decided to share the book that I'm reading right now, the first book in this fascinating, one-of-a-kind, beautiful series.
Talented, brilliant, incredible, amazing, show-stopping, spectacular, never the same, totally unique.
Is Better of Red by Rebekah Weatherspoon. This is the first novel in the Vampire Sorority series. More so, sapphic Vampire Sorority series. And if it doesn't pique your interest, I don't really know what you're doing on this channel, because these are all my reading buzzwords in one book. Now that I've properly guessed up the series to you, I'm just gonna talk a little bit about the plot. The story follows a girl named Ginger who is in her first year of uni and who has a pretty annoying but pretty harmless roommate named Amy. Amy really wants to get into a sorority, so she convinces Ginger that they need to rush and see if they will be able to get some invitations to the many sororities on their campus. Ginger doesn't really want to be in a sorority because A, it's expensive, and B, she doesn't have much time for it. They get to meet this 𝕊𝕌ℙ𝔸𝕋𝕀𝕆ℕ𝕊 sorority, which is a very diverse sorority that doesn't take fees and also consists of only 36 girls. Every single year, only 36 girls. Doesn't matter, no, but you need to feel the exclusivity of it. The girls of the sorority are actually pretty fun, they have their head on their shoulders, and they're doing this for the right reasons, to find the sisterhood and to support each other. Then they go to a couple of parties by the sorority, and Ginger's attention is caught by this gorgeous girl that she doesn't know the name of, but even without talking to her or being introduced to her, she becomes completely obsessed.
I'm Sabine. What's your name?
I've never had one.
I'm sure it reminds you of Twilight, but no one is glowing in this book. They're actually doing a lot of things, but not glowing. Then their invitations come, and Lord and behold, there is no option of opting out of it, because usually, as far as I understand, because I'm not American, when you get an invitation to the sorority, you can decline it. There's either a checkbox or a line where you can write yes or no, but in this case the card is blank, and the girls from the sorority that they're already friends with, sort of, come to their room and ask them to wear a pretty peculiar outfit, which consists of a transparent nightgown and nothing else. Of course, at this point, any rational human being would bolt, but not these two girls. Amy really wants to get in the sorority, and they both think that it's some kind of hazing ritual, because apparently that's legal. Apparently you can do that. There are 13 of them this year, and they're presented to 6 semi-naked women that wear body chains and nothing else, and that seem very ethereal. Ginger's crush is also there among these women. I'm sure you know where I'm angling to. So these girls are transfixed and a little paralyzed. The older girls that recruited them are presenting them to these women as donors or feeders. And it becomes very clear very quickly that these women are not regular women or human at all.
How long have you been 17?
A while.
The woman that Ginger had a crush on actually is the queen of vampires, because clearly that's a nest of vampires, and they were given a lot of hints about it throughout the book, so I don't know why they are complaining now. You should have seen it from afar. It was very, very clear. But why be smart when you can be horny? Am I right, ladies? Honestly, I'm in no place to judge. I've done so many stupid things for women in the past. These girls are asked if they want to pledge themselves to these vampire women, and all of them say yes. Why? I don't know. I guess they're too hot to pass. Either way, They all pledge their lives to these vampires. They are going to help these vampires survive by giving them blood, and these vampires in return are going to care for them physically, emotionally, financially. It's a bit of a dom-sub dynamic if I've ever seen one. Ginger has some doubts. She doesn't really know what to do because these vampires actually give them an opportunity to say no, and they can wipe their memories and just let them go. But Ginger doesn't really know if she can trust them to do that, and Amy, her friend, actually agreed to serve a vampire. So Ginger, because of the girl code, feels an obligation to look after her and to make sure that she's safe. It's time for Ginger to choose, and she decides to stay. Because why? Because the women are hot. And I mean, not the worst explanation. Ginger is still obsessed with 𝔻𝔻, the vampire queen, but she now understands that this woman is also dangerous. But still she allows this woman to usher her to another room for some reason that 𝔻𝔻 says that they need to talk in private. Turns out, of course, Ginger is not a regular girl. For some reason, she sees vampires even when they are trying to hide themselves, which means that she has some vampire blood in her. And 𝔻𝔻 wants to investigate how that happened. Does it matter much to the plot? We don't know yet, but it indeed gives it a bit more layers. Despite 𝔻𝔻 being an ancient murderous vampire, the sexual attraction never wanes. So there is a bit of fan service, which I thought is going to be it. After all, I'm 80 pages into the book. But Rebekah Weatherspoon never disappoints with inventive smut, because after that the book was orgies on orgies, and I don't think I minded. I actually had fun with it. Since we're all caught up, the next updates in this vlog are going to be spoiler-free or minimal on the spoilers. All you need to know if you want to check out this book, and I highly recommend to do it if you're looking for something fun and spicy. So all you need to know about the story is that it's about a sorority that is actually a vampire nest that is looking to find more donors through pledging. It's sapphic and it's so much fun, and methinks everything I need in 2021. I'm here to update you on Better I've Read because I'm 60% in. I was busy yesterday because I had to go to all these construction stores to find the proper wallpaper for the walls in my new apartment, and it took a long time. I like watching other people do it on TV in a variety of different reality TV shows, but doing it myself is so exhausting. So I have a very slow morning today. It's a Sunday, and I literally woke up at 12, and I didn't do anything as of yet, so we're just going to put some skincare on. This is 10% niacinamide. When it comes to the book, I'm getting a little bit, not annoyed, not really. I'd say I'm getting a little bit exhausted by it because honestly it is too much sex at this point. Like, I get that it's an erotic novel, but also I would like to have some plot with that. And so far, there's no plot to find. Like, there are certain glimpses that give me a little bit of info about the world building and the conflict, but otherwise it's sex every few pages, and at this point I just want a break. I just want Ginger to think with something other than her lady bits, and it's not happening. The thing is, she had a few revelations about her relationship with Carmilla, that it's one-sided in a way, that she's asking for far too much from an ancient vampire demon, and that their relationship is purely sexual, and she actually wants more, but she knows that she's not going to get it. Like, those are all fair concerns, but I also think that she has to think about other things, such as her having demon blood and what it actually means for her future. And she doesn't seem to focus on that much. And it's a bit concerning because how much can you think with your neither region? For how long? It's also realistic. I get it that she's a young girl, that it's her first relationship with another woman, and sometimes we get caught up in this kind of situations. Well, very often your first girlfriend is everything to you. It's always like that. I feel like in 9 cases out of 10 it's like that. But it being realistic doesn't make it less annoying, if you know what I mean. It's like this girlfriend that you have that constantly whines about her boyfriend being a dick and how she actually wants more from him, etc. And when you say that she should just dump him, she immediately says, but he brought me flowers once, he's not that bad, something like that. And I really want Ginger to be a little bit more smart. They are in a relationship right now, which I think is a bit odd, but that's the issue with a lot of romantic vampire fiction. Let me put my moisturizer on. For some reason, when we write this vampire romances, we believe that a vampire that has been on Earth for eras, generations, is gonna be interested in some 19-year-old girl, or sometimes even 16-year-old girl. What does this vampire get from it? Like, I'm sure with their vast knowledge they wouldn't be interested in anyone so young, except that they consider people that they hook up with to be just for entertainment purposes only, for feeding
my hungry guys.
For sexual stuff if they have sex, because in certain vampire lore they don't have sex. So I wish at this point this book focused a bit more on the plot and gave me a bit more than just crumbs. I want to know what happens after these women are going to leave university, because they say that they are assigned to different vampires to be their food, basically. And I also want to know about Ginger's mother and how she ended up feeding from a vampire. I know that essentially that was not the purpose of this novel. It's an erotic novel, and the things to expect in this kind of novels is not plot. But I just want it. I cannot enjoy a novel without plot, so I'm eagerly waiting it at this point. And this novel was written in 2011, I believe, and it feels like it was written in 2011. I will get a bit more into it when I collect some bits and pieces from the book to, you know, have an argument, so I will check in with you a bit later. Okay, so I promised you to collect some evidence that betrays this novel as a novel written in 2011. And the first thing that comes to mind immediately is the way this, I'm looking at my film, the way these characters, these girls, are so concerned about their body hair. And I feel like that's the thing of the past. Perhaps I'm just moving in the different circles, but I don't think we care about hair removal as much as we cared about hair removal in 2011. I don't feel like waxing and shaving is that big anymore, especially if it's not the first time you have a sexual connection with a person. So you might groom more because you don't know this person's preferences at first, but as you get more comfortable into the relationship, you stop doing that. There was also a lot of talk about pretty lingerie, like traditional lacy lingerie, which I also didn't get. I don't think that my generation at least buys a lot of lingerie. Perhaps I'm just more masculine than I think. I feel like it was popular in 2010s and it's not as popular anymore. There are a lot of references of shows that are not airing anymore, some fashions that changed. Some of the outfits still sound cool and some just sound outdated. It's always very interesting to pick up a book that was published perhaps 10 years ago or so and see how stuff actually changed, even though when I think back to 10 years ago, it doesn't really feel like a lot of things changed. I finally finished the book, so we can talk about the good, the bad, and the ugly. I will try to keep the spoilers to myself, but there are going to be minor ones, keep in mind. This book was a lot of fun, but I started to get increasingly more and more tired by the amount of sex scenes that are in it. I can't believe that I'm saying it, but at some point it became too much.
I'm allergic to limes.
The main pair had sex every other chapter, and I think if you're looking for that, that's the perfect book for you. But I love a bit of balance. I need the plot to be as strong as the relationship is. Also, they got together so quickly in the book that I didn't get the tension. The earning in romance is incredibly important for me. I don't really like it when the protagonist and the love interest get together too quickly, because I just don't like it. It's not my preference. I prefer the order to prolong the pre-relationship stage as long as possible, because then the moment when they get together is much more exciting. The actual meat of the story, the plot, started 70% into the book. There was so much happening almost every chapter. I got everything I was asking for. I got a bit of vampire lore, I got a bit of conflict, I got a bit of everything. And that was very fun for me. I wish it was dispersed through the whole novel a bit more evenly. It's also definitely not a very by-the-book romance. If you follow the traditional romance structure, which in my eyes is perfect, the two people have separate lives at the start, they meet cute, and then we get to see some kind of conflict between them. Either want to be together and can be together, or they don't want to be together and life throws them together. Then there's a lot of tension, they get together, we get a little bit of a taste of them as a couple, and then there is this big conflict before the ending. Some people are tired of the structure, but I'm a big proponent of leaving things that work the way they are, because this structure definitely works. It always works, in my opinion. I also don't read that much romance that I'm tired of it, so your opinion could be different. And I didn't get that. Ginger and Camilla got together so quickly. They've had a couple of conflicts, but they were very superficial and never developed as much because Ginger is just a weak-ass bitch. She just can't keep herself in check when she sees a girl flashing her bets at her.
What about my hungry guys? What are you hungry for?
I guess I shouldn't judge her, she's young. It was not as enjoyable as I wanted it to be. But still, if you're looking for escapism, if you're looking for something quick, fun and dirty, that is the book for you. There is also promise for next books in the series, because the first book did set up other couples, and I think they're actually going to be a bit more interesting. I'm personally very interested in the Clear's book. I think it's gonna be a bit angsty and tense, just the way I like it. I just wish this book leaned a little bit into urban fantasy and talked about the world building and the plot more. If you read this book, tell me about your opinions in the comments down below. We can discuss the characters, we can discuss the plot that was given to us, we can discuss the relationship. If you have not read this book, tell me if I convinced you to read it, and if you have any recommendations of FF paranormal romance for me, please leave it in the comments down below as well. If you watched this part of the video and you want me to know that, leave an emoji with the vampire in the comments down below. I think we have the emoji of the vampire. If we don't, and I'm just clueless, leave an emoji that gives you goth vibes, because why not? That is all for the video. I hope you had fun, because I definitely had fun, and I'll see you with another one. But until then,